Hehe. The end of the game is not madness or arrogance, but only strength. Zhuo Fan glanced at him. Zhuo Fan smiled coldly, once again stepped on the alchemy platform, coldly said, "If you can put it today I rushed from this platform, you are Xianyu first." Ha, the old man was originally then add one more condition. "If you can drive me down, Lao Tzu's head will be on his head and his hands will be on." Everyone was shocked by this remark. It's just a competition for Dan, does it take a gamble? Or does this kid know that he has offended the king of poisonous hand potion, and he hasn't gotten off the court, and has already made it? Chu Qingcheng and others instantly looked solemn. And Wang Pu Qingyan suddenly smiled and blossomed. This time the kid's life is required, but it is more justified. Long Jiu and others looked at each other, and a strange color flashed in their eyes. And they all coincided with each other. Why is this kid playing so big this time? With Zhuofan's caution, such arrogant words should not be easily released. Zhao Dandan already cried out anxiously and looked angrily at the owner of Muden Master. If he loses, what can he do? How could he be the opponent of the poisonous drug king? Isn't it dead? Then I'm not a widow anymore. Bah, you didn't have anything to do with the kid. What a widow, the landlord Peony scolded, his face angrily ruined. This kid really doesn't know which ribs are wrong. He is upset again. When the time comes he really wants to lose, and we are really not good at helping him. Dong Xianba's brothers and sisters looked a little bit stunned. How is this brother getting more and more cultivated? Is he still the same as Song Yu? Not caring about the noise around him. There was a treacherous smile on the face of Poison Hand Potion King. Evil smile said, hey, kid, this is what you said. Don't be too scared to beg for mercy, boy. Don't be too shy. Elder Yan Song is an elder after all. You admit a mistake to him, take back the arrogance just now, and he won't care about you if you want to come. Knowing his relationship with Chu Qingcheng, Tao Danyang hurriedly glanced at Zhuo Fan and found a step for him. But Zhuo Fan didn't hear it at all. This paved step also kicked over and didn't go down at all. Instead, he stepped up and looked at everyone present at the scene. Lao Tzu speaks and has always said a lot. And it's not just this old guy, everyone present, one is counted. As long as someone can let Lao Tzu leave the table, Lao Tzu's head will be put on both hands. What? This time, the pot exploded again. This is not just a personal grudge against Poison Hand Medicine King, who challenged him alone. Zhuo Fan's remarks were obviously provoking everyone on the court. To put it bluntly, it is to challenge all alchemists of Xianyu. This is obviously to establish his position as the first alchemist in Xianyu in this Baden event. But this position, the king of poisonous hand pills, is all about it. Why should you be a stinky kid? All of a sudden, a rock stirs thousands of waves. The alchemists present were all glaring at him, seeming to regard him as their enemy. Even those who laughed at him at the beginning, now no longer laugh at him, only full of anger. Poison Hand Medicine Wang Yunyan smiled and murmured, "Find your own way." Tao Danyang stroked her forehead and shook her head helplessly. She really couldn't understand Chu Qingcheng. How did she find such a kid who didn't know what to do? As soon as he said this, he clearly committed anger. Wang Pu Qingyan, they even laughed together. This is really called Tianzuo Sin. There is something to do it yourself, do not live. The two landlords, Peony and Blue and White, sighed softly and smiled bitterly. How can this stupid boy be stunned to such a degree? Chu Qingcheng was puzzled in his eyes, not knowing why. He knew that although Song Yu was reckless, he would never be so absurd. At this time, Zhuo Fan slowly turned his head, looked at her, smiled lightly, and pointed to his back. Suddenly, Chu Qingcheng was shocked like an electric shock, and the whole body couldn't help shaking. 2 lines of tears fell for no reason. "Qingcheng, what's wrong with you?" Blue and White landlord stunned and asked hurriedly. After deep in thought, Chu Qingcheng looked at Zhuo Fan below and muttered, "Wrong, it was always me wrong, what's wrong?" The landlord Muden wondered. With a smile of relief on his face, Chu Qingcheng said lightly, "I used to think that Qingshen's wish was to avenge revenge and to surpass the poison hand medicine king in alchemy. But I was wrong, his wish was from beginning to end. There is only one. That is Yi Dan Qing Tian, becoming the world's first alchemist." Looking at the familiar cloak, Chu Qingcheng laughed out loud. "That cloak was made by my own hands. But I never understood the true wish of Qingshen. Instead, it was Song Waiyu, who saw at a glance that I am my sister. Yes, really incompetent." "What, Song Waiyu, did he do this to fulfill his wish?" The pupil suddenly shrank, and the two peony and blue and white landlord looked at each other, and then looked at Zhuo Fan's back, and felt that at this moment, this thin back suddenly rose to shore. They often say that men are unreliable, but at this moment, there is a man who dares to commit public anger for the beloved woman. Is such a man unreliable? In an instant, they looked at Zhuo Fan's eyes, only respect. Only in this respect, with a little tragic. The king of poisonous hand potion, Xianyu first, is well known in the world, no one can reach it. This kid did this, although he was fulfilling Chu Qingshen's wish, but it was gone forever. Hey, this kid really has a hatred. At this moment, a light laughter suddenly came out. Chu Qingcheng stunned them and turned their heads to look around, but they just saw Zi Xianyang laughing and looking at Long Jiu and them. "You said, this kid humiliated Yuan Song's old guy first, and then asked him for his head. Or alchemy lost, angry, asked the old guy's old life. Well, this brother is unfathomable." The old man guessed that he should win Yuan Song. Long Jiu touched his beard and murmured, "Ha, Uncle Ji, you look at him too much. Others may win him, but that is Xianyu's first alchemist, poison hand medicine king, how could he win?" At this time, Long Kui said with a sneer, "According to me, look, the kid is afraid that alchemy will lose, and he will definitely take his life when he takes Yuansong alchemy. It will be considered that he hasn't lost alchemy and has saved his face." Hearing this, everyone pondered for a while, and all nodded. Zhuo Fan has never played cards according to regulations. And he often does shameless things. Taking advantage of his alchemy and secretly attacking this kind of thing, it is not impossible to do it. However, just as they chatted about it, the landlord Peony couldn't help it anymore and broke his mouth and cursed, "Nine uncle, I thought you had a good relationship with our Huayu building. But I didn't expect that our people would fight life and death below. Are you here gloating?" Slightly stunned, Long Jiu looked at each other, knowing that they had misunderstood. And all shook their heads with a smile. Zi Xianyang even looked at Chu Qingcheng and Zhao Dandan with angry faces. The landlord Chu, "Girl Dan, we have no intention of insulting that brother. We are just discussing a fact." With that, Zi Xianyang's eyes suddenly narrowed, a flash of light flashed in his eyes, and mysterious smile smiled and said, "And, sister-in-law, the true face of your husband, you seem to haven't seen it yet. Next, you need to look carefully. Don't be surprised. Don't look at him as a good baby in front of you. In fact, he is the real devil. The poison hand medicine king is not too kind in front of him, hehe." Hearing this, everyone was stunned, and it was all unknown. But at this moment, accompanied by the soft sound of a bell, the second round of competing for Dan began.